talked to Johnny quite a bit on Saturday night, so, if you can just, change up your questions, let's, get some new content for them, and we'll go from there.
Well, new week of practice, obviously a big game. What are you looking to maybe build upon that going into this game? Because I know you said that maybe you could have done a lot more. I mean, what are those things?
Just like the last person said, consistency. We trying to come in and be consistent, and execute the plays. So basically we going to practice and just trying to execute our plays that we go run for Saturday. We eliminated a lot of things and we just attacking it now. We attacking what we do best, so it'll be a no-brainer. So we just trying to execute them plays and get them right for this Saturday.
Johnny, this offense has been one that's been able to use play action really effectively, and to kind of break defenses down. As a running back, what kind of goes into playing that kind of play action style, and what do you think the role is of a running back in play action?
I mean, it's just like everything else. You gotta execute the play, fake or not. You gotta give a good fake to make the linebackers come up just for the play action. And certain things, and then you still gotta protect. That's mainly the most important thing is protecting, because without us, and how the quarterback will get the ball off sometimes, because the defense will have a +1 man, so we'll have to pick him up. So you gotta know protection and things like that.
And do you feel in play action, when you guys are using play action effectively, it also kind of opens up the running game a little bit more because linebackers aren't biting on every single run look?
I mean, yeah, that's just the pass will open up the run and the run will open up the pass. Feel me? So we just gotta stay level within all of it and just, like I said, execute, and you'll see the defense change, and we don't have to change.
Coach Johnson mentioned that the running back group is one of the deepest on the team. How is having a group like that good for you, just learning from the other guys, fighting with those guys, and just having that group there to always keep you fresh as well?
Like I say, I appreciate them guys, because we started off rough, real rough. When I first came in, we started off rough. And now it's just all us, the bond just coming closer. We even started hanging with each other outside of here. So it's getting bigger than football. Them boys becoming brothers. So when we do get on the field, we care for one another, look out for one another. So it's just we off the field, we just chilling. So I mean, it's deep, but everybody know their role too. You get what I'm saying? Everybody play their role. I mean, just how coach want them to play, and then when your number call, everybody just take, you feel me, that opportunity, they make the best out of it.
You talk about that band of brothers mentality, and when it comes to a guy like Kelvin Dean, who maybe doesn't get a lot of carries, but when he does, he makes the most out of it. I mean, what have you seen from him, and how excited when you see him succeed?
I don't know them boys like that, but when I see younger people that's just even younger than me succeeding, it makes me happy, because I know where I came from, and I know the things I had to do, and I used to be that guy just getting them amount of reps up, and like I said, I just made the best of every opportunity, and I just them, they making the best for every opportunity, and eventually you'll see they play grow.
When you see the way the offense played last week, is that the sort of standard you have to aim for every week?
It's the standard. I just like how we came off. We came out fast. So that's the standard. We got to start fast, because obviously when we start fast, we don't stop. So the standard is starting fast and executing the plays, because once we do that, I feel nobody can mess with us.
You talked about having kind of a win-first mentality. I think you said on post-game Saturday that even if you're a decoy, you get one carry and we win, it's good enough for me. If UAB really just kind of harps on you, you don't do that well, what besides passing and running well, what can you do to help the team win?
Block, return, help other people see other things that they don't see. Whatever the coach need me to do, as long as we get that W, I came here to win a championship. I ain't come here to be no selfish person or nothing like that. Nah, I came here to help the team win a championship, and whatever they need me to do, I gotta do it.
Johnny, going back to the play action thing real quick, you kind of mentioned that as defenses change, you guys don't. When you guys are running that play action, what do you kind of see defenses kind of switch up to try and stop it? How does that open up the lanes in the running game as well?
It opened up because the play action make them come down, and then sometimes when we do about to run the ball, they be hesitant just because of the play action. So that little split second help our O-line get to them too. So like I mean like everybody on offense always say like you get a running back a couple seconds, any one of them will go. Feel me? So that right there, that little pause in the linebackers help the O-line get their feet started to them.
Johnny, I know it's only been a couple of games, but what would you say is different about your game compared to when you were at USF?
Honestly, I wasn't really proud of the first 3 games I played. I just felt like a lot of stuff wasn't me because of like a lot of stuff I went through. I had to overcome some stuff, and now like I got a lot of stuff back in my body that I didn't have, like nerves and stuff. So I just feel like this game was a preview of 2018 when I was at USF when I first came in there and I was just going. So now I feel like I got back within myself. I got my steps back under me and stuff. So like every week you'll just see like better performance. Like that's what I'm trying to be, like you said, consistent. Once you stay consistent and everybody around you consistent, then execution will be a must.
How does it feel like having that big performance in the Shula Bowl right after you kind of overcame all that stuff? Is that just kind of a really like self-fulfilling moment for you?
Yeah, nah, like I was just my main thing was just to get back where I was. Like I wasn't directly like where I was coming into college like 2018, 2019. So my whole thing was just getting back to where I was, getting back playing comfortable, getting back playing loose, and get back playing like myself, like I was in the spring and things like that. And I mean, like I work at it every day, so eventually, like it's gonna come, and it's been coming. And like I'm proud of myself, proud of the team, and like them boys, they hold me to accountability, to a standard too. So I know like every day I come out of here, like they know I can play, so I gotta go out there and practice, and I gotta execute. I can't like just take one play off because they'll see me take a play off, and everybody else will try to take a play off. So some people look at me as a leader, and I don't even lead, but I lead by example. If you get it.
You know, the offensive line is obviously an integral part to the offense. I mean, is there any communication that you have with the offensive linemen, and especially how, because obviously when you succeed, they succeed, and vice versa.
They're my guys. They're my guys. They're my guys right there. Don't mind, they're my guys. If they hungry, I'm gonna feed them. They're my guys. For real. If you ask them anything they need, they could come to me, because at the end of the day, they start this thing off. Like, we nothing without them 5 people. So if you don't take care of your people not gonna take care of you. That's like what I was always taught. So if they come to me with anything, just like on the field, like I tell them what I see, or they'll tell me what they see. Like I talk to Big Dez the most, but I hear Nick, and when he calling his things, and like I try to help them like point out the blitzes and stuff like that, so it can be easier on them. And I always tell them like, just give me a little crease, man. You feel me? I'm gonna make y'all boys look good. And them boys, I like them boys. I love them boys. Kamar, Nick, BJ, all of them boys. I love them boys. Chaz, all them boys. Them boys go get down. Them boys go get dirty. Even the backups, the twos, all them boys. But Sally, all them boys. I can name all them boys. Them boys go get down. And if they ever come to me like they need something, I got them boys.
You touched on it a little bit, but what have you been doing to get back to your 2018 self?
Just working out more, trying to get my nerves in my back like more stronger. They weren't there at first, so I just been like working on my cuts, working on like exploding out of my cuts and different things. So that's why you seeing like if you really go watch the first 3 games, I wasn't doing what I did last game, like steps wise, because I couldn't really feel my steps. So now I can calculate my steps and I feel them, so it'd be way better.
Last week, 7 catches. Is that what you feel you're capable of if you get the opportunity?
Yes, sir, for sure.
For you, was that like, you know, because obviously you seems like you've had a lot of pop games and maybe some games where maybe you just had maybe a couple catches. When it comes to conference play, what do you feel like you have to do maybe better to further improve your game?
Just very consistent every week, just coming in, starting on Tuesdays, and just really playing the game from Tuesdays to Friday. You know what I mean? And Saturday should just be a rehearsal.
Cozy mentioned on your touchdown that you weren't even a part of his progressions. You know, what did you see on that play? And you know, what were you thinking throughout that play?
I started as in cover 4, so like Cody said, I'm not the read. I'm really a clear out route. Once I ran the route and I seen Cody spinning back out, it just turned into a scramble drill.
Do you see yourself as sort of a man of many talents? You know, because obviously you're very speedy. You can catch the ball very well. What do you feel like you bring to this team individually for you?
Like you said, speed. I mean, I bring a lot of versatility to the team. Pretty much.
Jaquan, one of the things that, about you that I feel is special is your belief in yourself. You were at situations where you wanted to change. Can you talk a little bit about working through that and trying to find the right home and where you can best use your talents?
I mean, I just feel like that came with just my faith in God and just trusting God and trusting the process. I mean, there were certain points in my life where I thought like maybe I'd never play Division I football again and stuff like that. But I mean, just my family and having faith in God. I mean, like I said, I took a leap of faith walking on. Usually I'm a very prideful person, like I walk on my life, like, you know what I mean? But just God stirred me this way and I just took it and ran with it.
Right.
Jaquan, you mentioned that walk-on, and I think that's unique because there aren't many, college football Division I teams that have walk-ons playing big-time roles in conference games. Do you kind of feel like you're kind of starting to get comfortable in the offense and kind of starting to make the most of your opportunities?
Most definitely, but I don't want to be complacent with where I'm at right now. So, like I said, I just want to be consistent every week.
What do you want to see more from yourself going into such a big game like the one against UAB this week, and then of course go like the rest of the conference schedule?
I just want to see if I can be consistent, man. I mean, that's my biggest thing is being consistent. Can I do this week in and week out without having a drop off?
What are you seeing from the other offensive players like Johnny, like the other receivers in the group? I mean, what are you learning from them, and maybe what are you trying to kind of incorporate as well?
I mean, having guys like that on your team, like it's huge because like Johnny Ford, I mean, the run game, then that gets the passing game going. And you got guys like LeJohn Tate, you got guys like that, consistent catchers, consistent blockers, so. Just having guys out there that can catch the ball and as well as pass block and things like that. I mean, that's huge for our offense.
Can you talk a little bit about the experience of playing in your first Shula Bowl and kind of learning throughout the week the importance of that game?
I mean, it was everything I imagined, sea of red. I mean, it was broadcasting out for like 2 weeks before the game. And I mean, the seniors were harping hard on this game. So I knew it was real serious and just the atmosphere was crazy. Nothing I never experienced, so different.
Do you think the best is yet to come for yourself? And obviously after, what do you want to see build yourself upon this last game?
Yeah, I definitely do think it's more to come from this. I just want to see myself be the best me, honestly. I just want to be the best version of me, and whatever comes out of that, man, I'll be happy with it.
Anyone else? Guys, open up with questions about reviewing if you want for FIU or moving on to UAB.
Yeah, so Coach, I mean, obviously a huge bounce back in a huge way, obviously, against FIU. How important is it to see that, especially kind of heading into conference play?
Well, I mean, it was big because we knew coming off of the Air Force game that we didn't play or execute anywhere close to what is going to be needed to finish out our schedule, and we wanted to bounce back, and we had a great week of practice. And I think what we did in the game was a direct reflection of how we practiced last week.
Coach, Coach Steiger just talked a lot about playing complementary football and executing on all three sides of the ball. Do you feel like this offense is kind of starting to play that complementary football?
Well, yeah, I do. I felt we did last week. I think we've done a decent job for the most part this year of having great ball security. We've thrown one interception, not a lot of fumbles, and that, as long as we can do that, I think we're going to be in a lot of football games. But we're aware of the situation. We're aware of each game. Certain games you need to be more aggressive. Certain games you don't. But whatever is needed for us to win the football game is what we want to do as an offense. That's where we try to approach each and every week and making sure that we're doing our part in this complimentary game.
Yeah, you were talking about the importance last week of just running the football and how you need to have that balance sort of offense. And obviously, Johnny Ford came up in the other backs as well. How important is it, especially against a team like UAB that's very physical, to have that both a good passing game and a good running game?
Well, yeah, that's what we want to be every week, whether it's UAB or anyone else. We want to have a balanced offense and making sure that we can do both, run and pass and do those types of things and whatever's necessary for each situation. But UAB is an aggressive defense, and everything that we do starts with our run game. So we want to get that going because that opens up a lot of other avenues for us.
With UAB having such an aggressive defense, especially kind of keying in on the run, we're going to see more of those big plays we saw last week with the speedy receivers kind of beating out some of those guys in single coverage?
Well, the focus this week is us. I mean, we know we're playing UAB. We know who they are. We know they're the 2020 conference champions, but we are worried about us and making sure that we're playing the right way and making sure that we're executing the way that we want to. And we feel that when we play the way we're capable of playing, we're hard to play against. So that's where our focus is this week. We want to make sure that we respect our opponent, make sure we give them their just due, but also really focus on how we're playing and making sure that we're executing our offense to the best of our abilities.
And then speaking of the run game, a guy that's kind of emerged this year is Kelvin Dean. I mean, he had another touchdown yesterday. He's getting more carries as the season goes on. What have you seen from him through camp and through the first few games of the season, and how big of a part does he play on the team during conference play now?
Well, KD gives us another weapon. He's played well, and he's done a decent job when he's had his opportunities. But I'm happy with the running back group. We have a stable of running backs that we put in there, 4 or 5 guys, and they all play well. So we're excited about the room, the running back room. So he's just one of those guys that when he gets his opportunities, he goes in there and he plays well. James Charles played well last week. All those guys are doing a good job when they're given their opportunities. So we're excited about that room.
Yeah, I know John Mitchell, when it comes to the tight end room, he gets a lot of the looks, and deservedly so, obviously. But Zaire Mitchell-Payne got a touchdown last week, and he really looks physically imposing on the field. I mean, how would you evaluate his performance and maybe what he can do in the future?
Well, he had a good game. He did a great job blocking. He caught some balls in the passing game, and it was good to get Z going. When he's going like that, it gives us another weapon. We had 11 guys touch the ball the other day, and when you're spreading the ball around and everybody's involved, then everybody is giving their 100%. So that's what we're excited about. And we got a good group of skilled athletes that when they're given their opportunity, they're doing a good job with it. And last week we had to click it on all cylinders.
Coach, do you kind of have a benchmark for how many points you'd like to score on a given week? Do you feel like there's a certain number where you feel like if you score that amount of points, you have a better chance of winning the game?
No, we're just trying to score each and every opportunity we get. So we don't have a number that we're looking for and stopping there, but we feel that if we can control the time of possession, we've done a good job with that in most weeks. And last week I think it was something like 32 minutes that we had the time of possession. If we can do that, then we're going to have a fresh defense. And then when we have a fresh defense, they're going to play well. So if we can control the ball, regardless of how many points we score, I think we're going to be where we want to be at the end of the game.
One of those guys you mentioned catching last week, Je'Quan Burton, had 7 catches over 100 yards. Does he bring a different sort of element or dimension to your offense?
He does. He's one of those guys that can run, but he's also physical. He plays with a physical presence, and it was good to get him going. We've had LeJounte in certain weeks, we've had John Mitchell in certain weeks, and last week it was Je'Quan Burton. So we're excited about our skill group, and when they're all playing the way they were playing last week, we're going to be a hard out.
Larry McCammon only had 3 carries last game. Is he still kind of recovering from that injury he missed the Air Force game with, or is he just working back slowly? What's up with Larry?
Well, he's getting better. I mean, he's close to being 100%. But, it's just last week was just one of those weeks where other guys got the touches. And, he'll bounce back and he'll do a great job for us this week. But, everybody's going to have their opportunities and their turns. And it's not that he was injured last week. He just didn't get the touches that he had the weeks before.
Kosi obviously had a great game, but when he came out because of the hand injury, and obviously he's fine now, but was it really pleasing to see Nick Charney go out there and really you guys didn't even stomp the brakes at all?
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see it. It was good to see Nick go out there and execute the way he did. He was swinging it all over the yard, making the right decisions, the right reads, and he played well. So we didn't miss a beat, and we feel good about our quarterback room. And if any of those guys have to play, we're excited about them going in there and doing their jobs.
Coach, UAB, is opening up that new stadium. They opened it up last week, but I'm sure the crowd's still going to be there despite the result. How important is to have a quarterback like Nkosi who, is cool, calm, and has played in big environments before?
Well, that's why he was the starter from day one. Because he had that experience and he had experience of having played in big games and big stadiums and crowd noise and all the other things that you have to go through when you're playing on the road. But you know, it's going to be another game, another stadium. You know, we did it at Air Force. We just got to go on the road. We got to play better.
Coach, what stood out to you about Johnny Ford so far in the run game?
Well, you know, Johnny Ford's done a great job in the run game and the pass game, and he's a different type runner. You know, when you're blocking for Johnny Ford, you can't take a side. You know, you got to block your man right down the middle because you don't know where it's going to pop. You know, sometimes he runs 40-yard dashes across the field and he gets 7. You know, then he'll cut back inside behind the block and, you know, where did he go? You know, and he ends up scoring a touchdown on the goal line. So he's one of those guys that he's a dynamic player. You know, he gives us a real exciting part of our offense, and he's one of those guys that you just got to block your man straight up because you don't know where it's going to pop.
It seemed like Andrew Baselli saw the field a little bit more than he had over the last few games before last week. What have you saw from him during practice over the last week, and also from his performance in the game?
Well, you know, he gives us depth. You know, he gives us depth at the offensive line, and you know, he can go in there if ever needed and execute. You know, we feel good about our offensive line. We feel good about our running back group. That's probably the two strongest areas of our offense that we play a lot. So if any one of those guys go down, I feel that he can go in there and he can do a great job. And he went in there last week and did a decent job.
Anybody else? All right, what coach?
To everybody, UAB coaches really just focus on a lot of their runs and stuff this week. This week we just started yesterday or Monday or so on that runs. We started quarterback runs and stuff, keying on that stuff. I know D-line wise, we're really focusing on like how that O-line moves and everything. So when we get in the game, we can key in and get our keys right and do our assignment so we can start the run and get to the quarterback.
Now, obviously, you were banged up during that game against FIU, but how are you feeling right now? Are you 100%, or are you still trying to get to that point?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Jay, obviously the home games have been great. The road games have both been losses, obviously tough assignments. But is there something about going on the road where you guys need to play better or need to be more focused, or what would you point at?
Coming on the road, we treat it as just like a home game. It's the same thing. Basically, it's all coming down to doing the assignment, doing what the plan that coaches put forth for us to execute. So we really emphasize that. It plays like on the road, you don't really have your fans or anything. You really keep it going, so you gotta stay focused and be able to stay on task.
Last time you saw these guys, it was a conference championship game. Obviously, the teams have changed somewhat since then, but you know, these two teams have won the last 4 conference championships. So do you look at this as a showdown?
Oh, actually, this is basically the rematch from 2019. So basically, this is probably more so going to be the conference championship preseason seed. So it should be a good, because UAB is a good team, you know. So it's a good matchup for us. We still be at.
You know, this is a team that really runs the football a lot, and when we talk to you and other defensive players, that's been a really key thing to stopping the run. I mean, how important is it to kind of build off that performance from last week going into this week?
It's great. We built off last week. They had 40 rushing yards or so.
I think it was 69.
69.
Yeah.
We built off and whole UAB under 100. We should be able to do good, have a pretty great game. So.
And even though you kind of missed some of the game, I mean, how good was it to see your guys sort of hold one of the conference's best running backs? So, like, you know, 30 rushing yards. I mean, the Russian defense was sort of like a question, but now it seems like you guys are really trending in the right direction.
Oh, it was great seeing my guys go. You know, seeing all those guys back at the linebacker position, Kiki, Caleb, Leroy. You know, seeing TJ Helm, Zion come up on the run. You know, Evan stopping the run in the middle. Great to see Marcel come alive that game. You know, be ready.
And then just as for your performance, while you're still struggling with that injury, getting that big sack, getting those 2 tackles as well, and such a big game as a Shula Bowl, how is that for you to just kind of set the tone for yourself, even playing through all that? And I mean, Coach Taggart even said that he appreciated your toughness and you're willing to do anything you can to win.
That's one of the things. Like, I do it whatever I can do to help this team win. So I know in order to help the team win, my job is to get to the quarterback and start the run. So I know if I do that, then FAU gonna have a good day. So
we all do that, so it's gonna be good.
Even though you guys, they're the defending conference champion, do you feel somewhat as though the team has a target on their back because you did beat them in 2019?
FAU? I'm pretty sure that team has I'm pretty sure every team has a little sour taste in their mouth if they lose to a team, so, I mean, they gonna come out, they gonna give us their best shot, we're gonna give them theirs, so, yeah, we gonna come on top.
You know, to kind of build off of that, I mean, it seems like, again, like you kind of like bad blood. I mean, obviously the Shuttle Bowl's a huge rivalry game, but it seems like this is, you know, more of a recent sort of thing. I mean, is it really important in these type of games to really bring that physicality to like the maximum level?
Oh, for sure, it's good to bring physicality every game, so I want teams to know every time they play this FAU defense, they're gonna play a physically tough team that's gonna play them hard for 60 tough minutes, so we just gonna keep that coaching going and we'll see where that goes.
Anyone else? Talk a little bit about this upcoming week and preparation going into the UAB game.
Well, UAB presents, again, a little different challenge. They run the ball very effectively. They're gonna make you defend all your gaps inside. They run the ball in a big zone team, zone concepts. Try to create a lane, try to cut a defensive lineman off. So it's going to be critical, as you play these guys, to put them in some, uncomfortable situations. They want to run the ball, and they've been very effective running the football when they've played well. And that's what's going to be critical. And being able to defend the shot plays. Any team that runs the ball effectively are always going to have the capabilities of isolating a corner or a safety in coverage and hit the ball down the field. And that's what, was kind of our Achilles heel the other night, is giving up those big plays. We played, I think, 62 or 63 plays and gave up the same amount of yards as we did on 4 plays. So, those are things that can't happen in the course of the game. We got to make people work to move the field, and it's going to be a big challenge for our run defense this week.
Just to kind of piggyback on what you said, I mean, that first half against FIU, 21 points scored, and then that second half, 0 points. Were those the halftime adjustments that you said to your defense, just kind of stopping those chunk plays?
Well, I think those are always, matchups that you have to be conscious of. What we're asking our players to do. Again, I think it was fundamental in some areas. I thought we should have, a couple times we fundamentally let receivers get back inside us. So, we were close, but, they're going to make some plays. That's going to happen in any game. You play at this level, quarterbacks, receivers are talented players and put the ball in some spots that are tough to get to. But disappointed that we gave up. I just thought we gave up too many of them. But it's a point of emphasis, obviously, this week and keeping the ball in front of us.
Moultrie, Tiger told us that he didn't play last Saturday. Well, if his status is still up in the air, if he can't go, could you see Kiki Leroy kind of getting more time in that position?
Sure, I think he played extremely well the other day, and he's a guy that's played a lot of football, and again, he's a guy that stepped up, and we have no questions about his ability to step in and play, the way he did the other day. So, we expect next guy up to come in and understand his responsibilities and to be able to produce like he did, and that wasn't surprising to me.
Coach mentioned that Chris Jones and Decarius Hawthorne missed last week's game with injury, but said that they would be back this week. What have you seen from them during practice this week? And do you think they'll be ready for the game?
Yes, they both fully participated yesterday and will participate today. So, they just give us more depth up front. It gives us a better rotation across the front four. And Chris has played a lot of football for us, and he was the starter, heading into the season. So getting back, those guys definitely helps the front.
And then Coach also mentioned Jalen Joyner was a bit banged up last week, but he still played through it. He had that big sack. Is he looking even better this week now? Is he in a little bit less pain in practice?
Yeah, he participated yesterday. Last week he didn't participate until Wednesday or Thursday. A little bit on Wednesday, practiced a little more on Thursday, and then so he was in tune with the game plan, but has practiced every day this week, so he's feeling much better.
You talk about how UAB really runs the football very effectively, and we've kind of seen how one game they can really run the ball very well, but then the other game they can have those jump plays like you mentioned. What do you think the game plan is to kind of make the quarterback over there very, very honest, and what have you seen from the UAB quarterback?
Well, they lead with the run, and then they're going to take their play action shot plays like everybody does. That's just the way football is played. Everybody starts crowding the line of scrimmage, and you're going to play action and try to put the ball over your head. So, I mean, our guys got to understand, what their DNA is and how they try to attack you in certain formations and understand that. So, that's what you do all week. You prepare your team the best you can and show them as many looks as you can. And they have a variety of formations, movement shifts to create indecision in your minds, and we just have to be prepared for all these different looks and be able to fit our defense to these particular looks.
Speaking of quarterbacks, I mean, UAB's quarterback Tyler Johnston III is going to be out for this game, and they'll have Dylan Hopkins coming in there. What have you seen from Hopkins in the film versus what you've seen from Johnston if you've watched his? And what do you have to do to make the preparation to face off against Hopkins?
Well, I think people, when you look at the game against, was it Liberty? He threw a ball to the receiver that dropped it. It's going to be a 70-yard touchdown. I mean, it's right in his hands, and they just dropped. They just didn't execute. So his ability to throw the ball, down the field is equal to the people we've seen thus far, and he can stretch the field vertically in a lot of different ways. So, that's the thing. They want to throw when they want to throw. When you force them into throwing, in situations they're not comfortable in, that's obviously usually an advantage to a defense. So, we have to be able to put them in long yardage situations where they're not comfortable. But if you let them run the ball and it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 all day, then they're going to be very, very effective, and it's going to lead to a much tougher down to defend, different than 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. So those are all situations that arise in games. If they can play ahead of the chains all day, then we're gonna be fighting from behind.
How important is it for the defense to kind of play well on the road? Because I know again the 2 games Air Force and Florida are different scenarios, but especially starting conference play, how important is it to play on the road?
I think it's very important to play good and try to keep the crowd out of the game, to make them earn everything that they get on the road. Your toughness, your focus has to be extremely high, and so I think that's going to be critical. I think we need to show the maturity that we can go on the road and play at a high level. And thus far, I thought our kids competed hard. In Florida, I didn't think we played very well defensively, and for whatever reason, at Air Force. So this will be another great challenge, and really you just got to focus on your job, what it's going to take to win, and like you said, you got to play good defense on the road.
Anyone else?